beast from the sea. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard, his feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world marvelled and followed the beast. So they worshipped the dragon who gave authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. It was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and authority was given to him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. All who dwell on the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the earth. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Then I saw another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth, and those who dwell in it, to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. He performs great signs, so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast, who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who understands calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666.
Why is that for you?
Well, there's so many things, like, you take whatever you want to say. There's so many things that you can learn from it.
I'm wondering what 1 or 2 of your most favored Bible verses are, and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it, because to me that's very personal. When I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Favorite authors?
Well, I have a number of favorite authors. I think Tom Wolfe is excellent.
Did you read Vanity of the Bonfires?
I did not.
It's a phenomenal book.
What book are you reading now?
Yeah.
Well, I'm reading
Bonfire of the Vanities.
I'm reading my own book again because I think it's so fantastic, Tom.
Is there a favorite Bible verse or Bible story that has informed your thinking or your character through life, sir?
Well, I think many. I mean, when we get into the Bible, I think many, so many. And
as some of the folks, because I hear this is a major theme right here, but 2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ball game.
To cite a verse that you like?
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible, the whole Bible is an incredible. You can read it over, and many people have done this, and they've led their life that way, but you can read it hundreds and hundreds of times. The whole Bible is an incredible. I joke very much so. They always hold up The Art of the Deal. I say my second favorite book of all time. But I just think the Bible is just something very special.
Just heard the Vice President, or the First Lady, rather, brush off those poll numbers, as Brooke just said. But the Wall Street Journal did some analysis of those numbers as to why the president is down and Trump is up. And they say at this moment, under this president, the mix of black, Latino, and young voters who have been crucial to electing Democrat candidates are withholding support from Biden or shifting towards Donald Trump, a trend particularly dramatic among men. By contrast, it is hard to find a group where Biden is improving on his standing from the 2020 election. I am sure many people, including the Biden campaign, would love to know why this is happening and how seriously we should be taking these numbers 7 months out. So what do you think about this?
Right, and what these numbers really do confirm is that there is no Biden comeback. He's not bouncing back in the polls. He just continues to drag further and further behind Trump, in large part because of those key demographics you just mentioned. I'm particularly interested in watching what's happening with the young adults vote, people my age, and it's remarkable to see this massive shift where you see so many young people fleeing the Democratic Party in droves. And keep in mind, this is a demographic that turned out overwhelmingly for Biden back in 2020, and now they're swinging about 7 points towards Trump. That's really significant. And I don't know if it necessarily translates for a massive youth turnout in Trump's favor in November. What I think is much more likely is that a lot of young adults are simply not going to vote at all. There was a recent Axios poll that asked young adults if they plan on voting in November. 58% said no. And again, this is a demographic that tends to lean Democratic. If they stay home, Biden is going to have a very difficult time making up that lost ground.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Democrats don't want to have happen. So the vice president is in North Carolina.
President Joe Biden in the critical battleground states, listen to this, of Pennsylvania, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and North Carolina. And when it comes to Biden's ability to lead the country, well, 6 of those swing states cite Biden's mental fitness as a top concern. An overwhelming 72% saying Biden does not have the mental and physical fitness needed to be president.
And it's why I've always been more optimistic than the polls, because voters think their own lives, their own economy, their own state economies are better than they were 4 years ago. In the last 2 weeks, Joe Biden continues to have momentum since the State of the Union.
And when you add it together, here's what you get.
Well, and, you know, the whole argument about how early it is getting a little old. That narrative now about Biden is supported by the facts. And that negative number, that's like you're underwater. How long can you hold your breath is the question. Meanwhile, according to the statistics you just showed, Trump is doing the backstroke.
Here are just some of what we will do when we become the 47th president, of the United States. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. Look, that's a war that would have never taken place. Putin would have never done it. The United States must also build a state-of-the-art missile defense shield. We will once again protect our own people with our own missile defense system capable of blasting China, Russia, Iranian missiles out of the sky. And we will, in addition, have offensive weapons that will be second to none. Americans deserve an Iron Dome, and that's what we're going to have. We're going to have an Iron Dome around our country. And we'll save a fortune, because a lot of countries that we protect, number one, they can't stand us. Number two, they don't deserve protection. The money we waste is incredible. I will end Joe Biden's inflation disaster, and we will quickly rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world. Very quickly. It's going to go fast. Get ready.
Donald Trump is set to become president in 2024, and it's all because young voters 18 to 30 like him way more than Biden. For a long time, people have been saying that Trump doesn't stand a chance against Biden in 2024. Biden was consistently leading in almost all the polls. This became especially true when Trump was set to be arrested, and many politicians believed that to be the end of his campaign. Until a couple of months ago, things all of a sudden started to get interesting. A few polls started to show Trump winning over Biden, then a few more, and more, and more, until virtually every poll was now projecting Trump to win. The reasons for which are surprising. First, it turns out that his arrest was not a negative, but in fact a huge positive for his campaign. He raised more than $7 million selling his mugshot merch alone. Then videos of Biden falling down and fumbling started to go viral, and a lot of people, especially young voters, started to realize that Biden might not be fit for office, as polls now show that Trump leads Biden in young voters by 6 points.
Trump has shared a bizarre video on his Truth Social account claiming he is an instrument of God. Let's watch a little bit of that.
And on June 14th, 1946, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God gave us Trump. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, fix this country, work all day, fight the Marxists, eat supper, then go to the Oval Office and stay past midnight at a meeting of the heads of state. So God made Trump.